This morning I went to see Napoleon. Yesterday I read an article criticizing it for being historically inaccurate, and I thought, well, it's not a documentary, so if some things are not historically accurate, who cares? If it's a good movie, if it's a good story, if it's visually striking, if you can root for the characters, it's a movie. But yeah, it's was worse than I expected when it comes to the historical inaccuracies. Frozen Lake at Austerlitz, Napoleon shooting at pyramids, mm, Napoleon getting into the thick of the fighting himself at Waterloo, like charging the British position on horseback. Strange, very very strange. I mean, you can allow for some artistic license to tell a good story, but why put that in the movie? Napoleon charging at the head of his troops, he did no such thing, especially not that late in his career. Then at Toulon, where historically he gets bayoneted in the foot, I think. Here he doesn't get wounded, but his horse is shot out from under him. Why change that? I don't understand. Like him being bayoneted is just as interesting as the horse, so why change that? I don't really see the point of that. Um, you can walk away from this movie thinking that Napoleon was a very very simplistic person with lots of raging ambition and some sort of love, let's say, for Josephine, or at least some kind of sexual obsession with her. And that's it. Nothing about him as a brilliant lawmaker or a tireless worker. When he arrived in Elba, on Elba, he immediately went to work to give this tiny island new laws. He took a whole scientific expedition to Egypt. Not a word about that. You see him mess up the excavation of a mummy, or he toys with a mummy. Bizarre, bizarre. And then as a story, who stands out is the actress who plays Josephine. She's very sexy. She has this kind of smoldering passion, and she's clearly a woman in charge of her own sexuality, which is rare to see on screen. And she does it perfectly. And I don't know if this is historically accurate, but Napoleon is portrayed as somebody with an out of control libido, but almost no skills as a lover. So unsurprisingly, Josephine takes one or more lovers. I don't know. Um, it's also not so clear why these two are so attracted to each other. I read somewhere that in reality, Josephine didn't even read his letters. Strange movie. It's doesn't work as a love story, and it doesn't really work as a war story either because the battle scenes are okay, but you don't you don't feel it. Like there are lots of loud bangs. You see Napoleon doing a lot of this, like when he commands his troops to open fire. Um, throughout the whole movie, Napoleon seems to have only two facial expressions. One when he wants to have sex with Josephine, and the other when he's being like obsessed with winning. Maybe you can hear some fireworks. I did not plan that. Uh, that's not done for effect here. Mm, so if I compare this movie to Braveheart, for example, also lots and lots of historical inaccuracies. Like the Scots had chainmail, for example, and they are portrayed as some kind of armed mob, but they were a professional army. But the love story works. The battle scenes really captivates, and you feel lots of emotions here. It was okay, but nothing that I need to see twice. So, on a positive note, I think even though there are lots of historical inaccuracies, and as a love story or as a movie, it's far from perfect. I think it does spark a lot of interest in Napoleon, and everybody whose curiosity is triggered can find lots and lots and lots of really excellent information on Napoleon. So in that way, if it can spark serious study of Napoleon, why not? Like Napoleon was super interesting to me up until I was, let's say, 12, 13, and then I got completely obsessed with the American Civil War. But the last couple of days I've been reading a bit more about him again, so maybe that's the best this movie can cause is lots of people um, finding out more about Napoleon for themselves. So, and the most interesting story element for me was the character of Josephine, whether accurate or not, I don't know. I think she did cheat on him, but other than that, I don't know how historically accurate she's been portrayed. But the actress does a wonderful job. So, do I recommend this movie? Yes, sure. It's 2.5 hours. The time went by quite quickly, but I think I checked the clock on my phone 4 or 5 times, because here and there it did get a little bit boring. So I was expecting more. I find it really bizarre that so many historical facts were twisted for no good reason. And when Ridley Scott basically says "get a life" when you criticize this movie, well, I don't agree that this is a bit too much of a distortion for no good reason. So that's it.